All right, everybody, this is Justin. I'm here with Kyle Weems from Topeka, Kansas. Kyle right now is over in Italy. He's a two-time state champion, a three-time Centennial League champion at Highland Park High School. Kyle, what does it mean to you to be a two-time state champion at Highland Park High School?
Man, it means everything. It's definitely something that even though I've been fortunate enough to have a 12-year professional career now, obviously I had a great college career at Missouri State, but something that I'll never forget is those times winning in the Expo Center, man, and getting to celebrate with Coach Darting and all my teammates, and even having those relationships to this day. Still keeping in contact with Coach Mike Calhoun and Coach Bowersfield, Coach Posey, Coach Terry. It's definitely something that I don't take for granted, and it's definitely something that I cherish it and cherish those times, and something I'll definitely never forget.
A lot of people don't know you were a pretty good baseball player growing up.
hmm
At what age did you realize basketball over baseball?
Honestly, that's a good question. It was kind of, I wouldn't say it wasn't my decision, because at the end of the day, it was. And one thing I was blessed is my parents never, my mom and my dad, neither one of them ever forced anything on me. I kind of came to a crossroads where if I really wanted to, uh, you know, see how far basketball would take me, because that was kind of my first love, that I needed to start spending my summers doing that as much as possible. And then, growing up playing with the Topeka Diamondbacks, and obviously your brother and good players that went on to play in college and around the city. Um, we were taken over by the Topeka Senators. We merged with them. And the year, it was a good year, obviously playing wise, but some things kind of fell through. And as far as tournaments that we were supposed to be going to, and some promises weren't kept. And so I was kind of shaky about what was the baseball situation going to be like the next summer if I were to play. And then the decision was kind of a little bit easier, because with that being shaky and kind of up in the air on what uh, that situation was going to be the next summer, the Topeka Jayhawks, we upped our commitments in the summer, and everyone kind of stopped playing on their baseball teams as well. So it's kind of an easy decision for me to kind of put my baseball career to rest, and put all my eggs in the basketball basket. And I'm kind of glad that I did it, but I really did love baseball a lot. And like you said, I was pretty good at it, so it was hard to say bye to it, but at the same time, I guess I'm happy with my decision.
Yeah, it seems like that decision kind of paid off pretty well for you. Your uncle won two state titles, went to a Final Four. Now he's assistant coach for the Warriors. Your dad won a national title in the NAIA. Does that kind of just like basketball was this road for you that you
Oh, for
wanted
sure,
to follow
for
the
sure.
footsteps?
Yeah, I mean, I think basketball has just been something that my family was always around, so that meant I was always around. Whether it was going to my dad's city league games, or going to my uncle Chris's KC Schlegel games in high school, because right around the time he was junior and senior, I was close to 5 or 6 years old, between 4 and 6 years old. So seeing him be able to play in the state championship, and um, you know, it's definitely was always a dream of mine to play in that same arena, Kansas Expo Center there in Topeka. And then it made me even more hungry getting the chance to go out and watch Chris play at Stanford. We always got to go out, I believe it's sophomore through senior year, and watch a swing trip with him playing UCLA on a Thursday, USC on Saturday afternoon. And that was always just really cool to be able to see Chris live his dream out. And again, it just pushed me more and more to kind of want to be like him. And, with all those all the male Weemses in my life, they definitely helped mold me to who I am today for sure.
Now we're gonna go into your college life. You chose Missouri State after Highland Park. You redshirted your first year. Your accomplishments at Missouri State, they kind of speak for themselves. But one question I got, you had a chance to leave there your 5th year.
Yep.
You had other schools talking to you. What other schools, like, what made you decide that Missouri State was home and you wanted to stay there all 5?
Another good question. I had the chance to, back then there was kind of a new rule that came out if there was a coaching change, or even if there wasn't a coaching change and you wanted the opportunity to transfer and play right away the next season without sitting out a year, you needed to be a graduate. And I was right at around 6 credit hours, so 2 to 3 classes, give or take, that I could have finished in the summer after I won Player of the Year and we won the conference title my junior year. And I heard, a few universities like K-State, Kansas, Oregon, Cal was interested. All these bigger schools that I never really got a lot of attention from coming out of high school. Now seeing how I played my first 3 years of college, were definitely interested in really wanting to bring me on. But I think just the total package and picture that I had at Missouri State, I created a great career up to that point. My my mom, my dad got to come to most of my games at that time. Who's Jackie, who's my wife now, was my girlfriend for 3 or 4 years. So for me to kind of uproot myself out of that great situation, it was going to take, I guess, even an even better situation and kind of more security to go to another school. But obviously in basketball and sports in general, you can't be promised minutes, you can't be promised a role. Everything's going to be earned, and I understand that, but it just didn't. The risk didn't make sense. I had total confidence in my game that if I went to any of those schools, I don't know if I'd start or whatever, but I'd be able to play and contribute at a high level. But I knew, I'm not sure the exact amount of points that I was at after my junior year. I believe it was a little over 1,200, maybe 1,300 points. So I knew if I just kept my head down and stayed solid, stayed humble, and kept working, then I would maybe be able to beat the all-time scoring record by Dale Garrison. And it didn't end up happening. I ended up finishing second, but I'm glad that I stayed loyal to the way I was taught, my beliefs, my family's beliefs. And that's kind of just, whatever you start something, just stick it all the way through and stay loyal and stay true to yourself, stay true to the people that, gave you that opportunity. And, hopefully I pray one day my jersey can go in the rafters after finishing off that last year.
So in 2011, you became the school's you were the school's first D1 All-American honorable mention, and you were the school's first ever conference player of the year. You're still the school's only conference player of the year. And then you play the most games played in a season with 36 with your teammates. I think that's from the 2011 season. You played the most games played in school history with 134, and your career records are number 2 in points scored with 1,868, number 1 in double-figure scoring games with 110, number 4 in rebounds with 844, number 4 in field goals with 681, number 4 in three-pointers with 240. So your resume speaks for itself as a Missouri State player. What's the community of Springfield? They kind of still treat you like you're just one of the greats at Missouri State?
Yeah, for sure. But you forgot one. I also lead Missouri State in all-time fouls. So
yeah, I saw that one too.
I fouled the most. I fouled the most in Missouri State history. I guess you could say I used them wisely. Never left a foul on the court. So no, but all jokes aside, no, Springfield is like a second home, not only to myself, but to Jackie. They treated us unbelievable during our time there. So thankful that, got to go to, obviously Missouri State's not a small university, but it's close knit. They took care of us. And I think the best part is, they held me accountable as far as the professors there, and they didn't give me any special treatment. They didn't give me any passes. I always went to class no matter what, no matter if we had a late road trip coming back from Arkansas State at 4 a.m. If I had an 8 a.m. class, I made sure I went and showed the respect to the professor. And I didn't have the best of grades, but I tried and my best. I had tutors. I utilized all the resources that were presented, and but the people and the fans there on that campus, no, they were great, and they still reach out. I do some interviews from time to time again with Ned Reynolds and people down there, radio stations and TV stations. Whenever I was having my camps down there, they always showed support and showed love. And one person or two people actually that I remain close with, Lyndall Scranton was our beat writer there, who's stepped away from Missouri State, but's doing his own thing. He was always real supportive and showed me a lot of love in the newspaper. And it's good to see Art Haynes. He suffered a big illness from West Nile virus. He was the voice of the Bears during my time there. And just seeing his passion and seeing his dedication to his craft, and just being able to, kind of give him something to talk about was really cool. But just the love and support that I got while I was there, as well as Jackie too. I know she can say the same, just from the fans. Is something that I'll cherish forever.
So you had hopes on getting drafted out of college, and you didn't get drafted, but you've had a pretty good run overseas. You were in Germany for 2 years. You were in France for 2 years. Turkey, I think, for 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
And now you've been in Italy. What is each stop like? Your first 2 stops in Germany, what was Germany like?
Yeah, obviously I didn't get drafted, which obviously was disappointing. I was still on a couple people's draft board late. I believe it was San Antonio Spurs and Los Angeles Lakers, who I worked out for both of those teams and had a good workout. So I knew there was, not that big of a chance, but still, still being on their draft board meant I was doing something right. I believe I had 8 total NBA workouts, which was a great experience. But going overseas for my first experience, I think in Bonn, Germany, was the best thing for my career. It was very Americanized. The city wasn't too big, but it wasn't too small. Had everything you needed. The club, Telecom Bonn, was super, super professional. Helped us, get the international plans on our iPhones. Helped us get, we could call back from our house phone for free back to the States. Help get flights for my parents for them to be able to come over and spend around a month. And I could show them around, Belgium and Germany and, all these different places. So I think that was probably the best possible scenario as my first job overseas, and kind of, getting my feet wet in the European scene. But Germany was great. Obviously, I played 2 years in France and played right outside of Paris. So living in Paris, and I'd be tired coming back from a Euro Challenge road trip, and I'd be falling asleep on the bus, and I'd wake up and boom, the Eiffel Tower is just sitting right there. It's just, these are things you see in the book, and here I am, tired off of a road trip, from a game we won the night before, but we just landed in Paris. Now we're going home to see our wives and families, and there the Eiffel Tower is. Like, just things like that. I just tried, to soak it all in and never take advantage of it. So, that experience was really cool. Obviously, my oldest son, Kyrie, was born in Strasbourg, which is near the German border, but still in France. Everybody there, we had a close-knit team, but we also had some friends away from basketball that were expats working in pharmaceuticals and from Indianapolis, and they helped us out a lot there, especially with us being, you know, new parents, and they helped us out a lot, especially with Jackie while I was gone on road trips, and then going to Istanbul, Turkey was unbelievable as well, just because.
With Nantir, you were the Match Desk Champions MVP.
Yep, match the champions.
Champion.
Yep. So basically, match the champions is basically from the year before, whoever won the midseason cup and whoever won the end of the season title, the playoff series. Those two play at a neutral site to start the season off, and I was able to play really well in that game, and we won. So that was pretty cool. Even though I had the team mail back my MVP trophy, and I was expecting them, to wrap it really nice. And when I got it in the mail, it was in a trillion pieces. So don't really have that as a keepsake anymore, but for sure I'll be etched in their history forever. So that was a fun year. We played really well together. And like you just said, won the Euro Challenge title, who nobody thought would be able to win that. So
I'm gonna let you go and talk about your 2 stops in Turkey. Then we're gonna talk about your Italy stop separate.
Okay. Istanbul, man, was unbelievable. I believe right after I signed my contract, it was a 1+1 with the team option. At that time, we were on a cruise ship with my Weems side of the family, and so I didn't have a ton of great phone service. I didn't have a ton of access to TV. We were kind of just hanging out with the family, and that's when I found out that the Turkish government was fighting. Well, they were fighting with this group called PKK, who was, trying to overcome the government and take them over. And they're shooting at each other on the bridge. And I kind of just looked at Jackie like, there's no way this is happening right now. Obviously, at that time, it was my highest contract. It was a new league, a new market, and I was excited, but I didn't want to put my family in danger. But everything ended up working out. And that's probably my favorite city to live in, just because it was so big. There was 18 million people that lived in Istanbul alone. There was so much stuff to do. Everything was cheap. There was so much stuff to do for Jackie, for Kyrie at the time. And then going into the next year, Jackie was pregnant again. And that's when my youngest son, Christian, was born there in Istanbul, Turkey. And we had a great doctor who spoke perfect English and really took care of Jackie during the whole pregnancy. So extremely blessed about that. And then my last year, I played for a new team. After Besiktas, I played for a new team called Tofaş in Bursa, which is like an hour and 10 minutes northwest of Istanbul. And it was still a lot of people. It was 4 or 5 million people that lived in the city. The city just wasn't as big. But it was another good basketball experience. I played well in the Euro Cup that year. We ended up finishing third in the Turkish league and losing to the eventual champions. And that's what kind of opened up the door to play for Virtus Bologna. My first year in Italy, and I was able to play so well that I ended up, after my 2-year contract, they renewed me for another 2-year contract. So I spent four years total in Bologna. During my time there, we won 2 Super Cup championships at the beginning of the year to start the year off. And then we won 1 Scudetto, which is the Italian League Championship, and then 1 Euro Cup championship. So 4 titles in all in 4 years is pretty remarkable, just to sit back and look on our time there. And that's really all our kids know is living there. They lived there for 4 years. And built so many friends, built so many relationships. And, now we're in Tortona, Italy, just an hour south of Milan. And it's a really small city, but our kids love it here. We love it here. We have the team got us a house. The kids go to school about 25 to 30 minutes away and ride the bus there. They've built a lot of friends and relationships there. We started off slow as far as basketball concerned, but we just got a new coach around a month ago. So we've been playing really, really good. And we're about 1 game out of the playoffs. And we're about to have a a month break here with the national team. So hopefully we can get these last 2 wins. But overall, I've been very blessed with good basketball situations as well as good living situations. And that's all you can ask for.
So you mentioned you had a good 4-year run in Virtus
Mm-hmm.
Bologna.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You had a pretty big. Your father passed away while you were there. That was a pretty big moment.
Mm-hmm.
And they kind of hugged you and took you in around you during that time. What's raising kids like overseas been like for you? Because like to them, Italy's home, and when they come back to
Yeah.
Kansas is like a vacation to them.
Right. First off, the Bologna fans will always have a special place in my heart just because, like you said, during the time I found out my dad had cancer and then from the time he passed, I mean, making signs the whole length of the arena. And I can't tell you how many messages, whether it was on Facebook or Twitter or Instagram, just everywhere, people stopping, us in the grocery store or walking through the city center or seeing us at my kids' games, basketball games, or whatever, just always showing love and support. So always have a special place in my heart for all those people there. But yeah, I mean, raising a kid overseas is definitely, it can be challenging at times. But again, we've been blessed with really good living situations. So you can always kind of figure out the away from school, the away from daycare type activities, whether it's parks or, they got trampoline parks over here, just like they have in the States. They got, indoor play places, just like they have in the States. So it's just about taking the time to really, research and find those things. And I have the best wife in the world when it comes to that, because she will research anything to, and get down to the bottom of it to make sure her kids, have a fun time and a great, experience while being away from their immediate friends and family. So got to give her a lot of credit. But it's been a little bit more challenging at the beginning of this year because Kyrie, who's 8 now, who's in the 3rd grade, he's split between Italian subjects and English subjects. So, but he's been a trooper, man. He's speaking 100% fluent Italian all the way. He's doing great in his studies. Obviously, he's above average in his English studies, which honestly he should be, because in Bologna he was going to an all English speaking school, but still studying a little bit of Italian, if that makes sense. But here he's actually studying Italian and studying English, and he's been great. So I'm just blessed with a great wife who, helps, again, research all these different things to make our lives more comfortable, as well as having great kids who kind of adapt to whatever new city, new place, new town that we go and live. They create friendships, they become comfortable with where we are, and then it allows me to do my job in an easier way.
So you've been plenty of countries and stuff. What has each stop taught you?
I think the main thing is just like my dad used to tell me, just be a chameleon, blend in with your surroundings, adapt to these people's culture. At the end of the day, you're living out your dream and working in their country. So, embrace the different foods, try and pick up a little bit of their language. Just really, give it your all and really indulge yourself in their culture and their lifestyle. And I think that the people that will really respect you for that. And I feel like we've done a good job of that and just adapting to whatever country we were in.
So you played a lot of basketball over your life. I mean, pretty much from the day you were born. But I'm gonna assume you were playing basketball before you were born. So, what's your best memory of basketball?
Well, I'll just give you top 3 at every level. Well, the top memory at every level. Obviously, going 25-0 state champion at Highland Park is best kind of high school moment. Winning the conference championship and them storming the court my junior year, best college moment. And then as a pro, it's probably a tie between winning the Euro Cup and winning the Italian League Championship. The Italian League Championship, they haven't won it in 16 or 17 years. So seeing, people cry, I mean, grown men crying that we brought the championship back to Bologna was unbelievable. But as well as playing in front of a sold out crowd, and winning the Euro Cup, putting the team back to the highest level of EuroLeague was also pretty awesome as well. So, but all of those are probably my favorite basketball moments.
So to the people that don't know what overseas, all the different terminology of overseas basketball, the Euro Cup, that's kind of like the top thing.
EuroLeague is, yep.
EuroLeague. So Euro Cup's right underneath EuroLeague.
Yep, right, a step underneath. And then on the other side, on the FIBA side, that's like the Olympics. It's the Basketball Champions League and then Europe Cup. So it's kind of two different sides of the equation with two different competitions on each side. Depending on how you do in the Euro Cup, if you win it, then you move up to the EuroLeague. If you win the Europe Cup, then you move up to Champions League. So it's kind of like you're always rewarded for winning the second level, and getting to experience the best.
So you and your best friend Mike Wilhoit, you guys come back to Topeka every year to do a camp.
Mm-hmm.
First year was at Shawnee Heights. This past year was at Washburn, and I showed up to this past year's camp, and I seen all the kids over there. What does that mean to you that to put a camp on in honor of your dad? And I know he's smiling watching it.
Man, it's awesome. Honestly, it was pretty surreal walking in and just seeing the Lee Arena just full of kids. I mean, first off, the faith and the trust from the community, the faith and the trust in Washburn, the faith and the trust in the parents that allowed their kids to come to our camp. One thing that Mike and I always wanted to do was honor my dad in that way, because he always spoke about giving back to the community whenever we could, not just with money or donating this and that, but actually donating our time. So we came up with the idea of putting on a combined camp, and I think it's been great. We pretty much doubled, or a little bit more than doubled, our amount of kids from year 1 to year 2, and I hope that we can do something the same this year as well. So we're looking forward to it, but we're going to keep trying to get this thing to be bigger and better every single year. But it's been very humbling and honestly a dream come true, and I know my dad's definitely proud.
Yeah, so you guys grew probably double the size from year 1 to year 2. I don't think there's anywhere in Topeka that can take much more of a crowd than Washburn. So
definitely got to give a lot of love and appreciation to Washburn and Josh Osborne, Coach Josh Osborne, who helped put that on. Again, trusted us and let us do this in the community. Obviously, Washburn has unbelievable facilities. There's I don't know how many available baskets for my side on the basketball court. Mike has the indoor practice facility that's unbelievable, probably one of the best in all of Division II. And then as far as location, it's centralized. So it's close for the kids coming from the east side of Topeka, the south side of Topeka, the west side, north side. It doesn't matter. With it being where it's at, I mean, it's just honestly, it's the perfect location. It's the perfect facilities. And we just want to keep this positive thing going.
So your post-basketball life, you kind of really, it could be in 2 years, it could be this year, it could be in 4 years. Mm-hmm. You want to be a basketball agent. Mm-hmm. Is it just basketball, or you want to be an agent of more than one sort? And what made you want to decide to be an agent?
Well, I think it would definitely just only be on the basketball side. I think the one thing, a couple of years ago, when I was maybe 3 years ago, and I was sitting down, obviously I know that there will probably be coaching opportunities, whether it's at the high school, collegiate level. I'm not sure about the pro level as far as in the States. But one thing that, I thought about is, being able to still be around the game while also, having the flexibility to be there with my family and not be traveling, crazy amounts of time or spending crazy amounts of hours in the office. So I thought, what better way than, to help recruit talent from the States and obviously try and get them to the NBA. But if it doesn't work out, showing them that, hey, there's a lot of money to be made and there's a lot of great living situations overseas that you can live out your dream and still have it be financially, make sense and help you out and set you up for a great future. So I think with my experience, now in my 12th year, I've seen a lot of great situations. I've seen guys go to not so much, not so great situations. And, I got to give credit to my agent before and also my agent now that, it's never been about the money. Obviously, you want to make the most money you can, but it makes more sense to go to take a little less money and go to a good basketball situation where you can showcase your talent, prove your worth, show what you're about, as opposed to taking the highest dollar and going and playing for, a coach or a club that you can't be yourself. And now you look bad and now your money goes down. So I was blessed with good representation, and I just feel like there's not enough of those type of agents. A lot of them are just in it for themselves. A lot of them just place you in the highest contract. They don't care about the basketball situation or living situation. As long as you sign there, then they get their cut, their 10%, and then they move on and the hell with you. Well, I don't want to do that because that wasn't how I was represented. So I feel like I could do a good job of giving back and, have a lot of connections in the States as far as young talent and grassroots programs and stuff like that. So that's kind of my goal and my focus right now, post playing. Sorry.
So you're a big Chiefs fan. Are you happy that your Chiefs made it to the Super Bowl again? I mean, they don't have to play the Bucks.
100%. Yeah, no, 100%, man. Obviously there was a lot of rough years growing up. I don't know if it's the year where we went 13-3 and lost the first round game to the Colts. All the 9-7, 8-8, 7-10 years, dealing with injuries, dealing with, so on and so forth. But just it's really cool to see, man. Honestly, I wish my dad could be here to be able to see it because he was, how big of a Chiefs fan he was. But I know he's up there watching and happy. But being able to watch Patrick Mahomes,
he did get to see the Royals win the World Series, though.
Yeah, he did. He definitely did. But no, I mean, seeing the Chiefs back in the Super Bowl, man, it's definitely something that, me playing basketball at the pro level, I know how hard it is to win a championship. There's a lot of things that have to go right. There's some luck involved. Health is involved. There's so many things that have to go right. So to see it, I mean, fourth Super Bowl in 5 years? I mean, come on, man. I'd be satisfied for a lifetime of a Chiefs fan just off of these last 4 to 5 years.
What's one thing about Kyle Weems that you want everybody to know that they probably don't know?
Man, that's a good question. Man. I mean, everybody already probably knows I'm a clown. Everybody already knows I love to talk. I mean, everybody probably knows I love to have a good time, obviously out of season. Man, that's a good question. I mean, probably, even though I live overseas and I'm blessed to travel a lot of different places and do a lot of different things, I love not doing anything as well. Like I love on off days, sit my ass down on the couch and, obviously I'll get up with Jackie and make sure the boys are good and fed and they're ready to go to school. I'll drive them to the bus. But I love doing nothing that off day. So, I mean, I guess on off days, I'm lazy. I guess that's something that people probably don't know about me. But other than that, I think
you just want to sit back and take a sip of wine.
Drink good aged grapes, man. It's good for the soul.
Well, I appreciate your time today, Kyle. So
yes, sir, brother.
Get back to your basketball life, and I'll get a hold of you.
No, yes, sir. Appreciate you, JB.
Yes, thank you. I appreciate you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Bye.